Hey guys, today I'm going to share with you how to make ground beef and cabbage soup. And this is a healthy and hearty meal. It's made with ground beef, some shredded cabbage, some potatoes, some beans, simmered in a delicious broth. And this is a warm and cozy meal that's made with the simplest ingredients. First things first, if you guys haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. That will definitely help me out. And also if you want to continue to see my simple and delicious recipes. Okay, so let's get started. Here I have 1 head of cabbage. We're gonna need a lot of cabbage in this soup. It is called ground beef and cabbage soup. So we're gonna need about 5 cups worth of shredded cabbage. So I'm just gonna go ahead and shred this up. This is also a recipe that my dad used to make. It's just such an easy recipe to put together. Like I mentioned, made with like the simplest ingredients. The only difference between my recipe and my dad's is I add beans. And when my dad tried it with the beans, he absolutely loved it. Because if you know my dad, you know that he loves his beans. And I feel like adding the beans not only gives it more protein, it adds fiber to the soup, and it just overall makes it a more heartier soup. And this really is a delicious, inexpensive meal that will satisfy everyone. Even my older son loves this soup. And he actually really enjoys the cabbage in this soup, which makes me very happy. Okay, so this is enough cabbage. I did buy a slightly larger cabbage just because I wanted some left over. I like to shred it up and eat it as a salad. So that's an idea if you have a little bit of leftover cabbage. Okay, so I'm gonna go get working on the potatoes. So here I have 2 potatoes that I already went ahead and peeled, and I'm gonna go ahead and give them a dice. I really love potatoes in this soup, but I also have another cabbage soup recipe where I don't use potatoes and I add rice. So if you wanna check that out, that's called cabbage roll soup. But when my dad would make this recipe, he would always add a scoop of rice into his bowl of soup. And that's because we're Filipino and I grew up with having rice for every dinner. But that's just another option if you want to add more carbs to your soup. You just want to cut them up into bite-sized pieces, and these potatoes are going to be so nice and tender when they're all through cooking. Okay, so we're done with the potatoes. I'm gonna go ahead and grab the rest of the ingredients for our beef and cabbage soup. Okay, so we're also going to be needing a pound of ground beef. I have some minced garlic, a diced onion. I have some beef broth here. And if you're like me and you buy the beef broth by the quarts, it only comes in 4 cups and we need about 5 cups for this recipe. I'm just gonna add a cup of water. You can open up another carton, or if you have canned beef broth, you can go ahead and open it up and you can freeze the rest if you don't want to waste it. I'm also going to need 2 cans of white beans. Okay, we are ready to get cooking. Meet me over at the stove. Okay, so I have my pot heated over medium-high heat. I'm going to add in some oil along with the ground beef. And I'm just gonna cook it down until it's completely cooked through. I'm also going to add in some salt. All right, so our beef is looking good. It's all nice and browned up. I'm going to add in the diced onion, minced garlic, and a tad more oil. I am also going to add some salt. Always remember to season up along the way. And I'm gonna cook this until the veggies are nice and softened, probably about 4 minutes. I also did turn the heat down to medium while I'm sauteing the onions and garlic. Okay, it is looking good. It is time to add in the beef broth, along with a little water. And in goes the potatoes and the canned beans. And you wanna make sure to drain the beans before you add them in. Okay, so this second can needs a little help. Sometimes certain cans of beans can be thicker. All right, they made it in. Just gonna give everything a stir before we add in the cabbage. And now lastly, I'm going to add in the shredded cabbage. And I think I did over 5 cups of cabbage. As it cooks down, the cabbage should shrink up a bit. And we are still in cold weather season. I mean, as cold as it gets in Southern California. So this will be a perfect warm and cozy meal to snuggle up with. Okay, you wanna bring everything to a boil. And then you wanna go ahead and season the soup up with some more salt and pepper. And once it comes to a boil, you want to lower the heat to medium-low and then cover and cook it for about 15 to 20 minutes. And the potatoes should be nice and tender and the cabbage should cook down a bit. So I'll see you guys in a bit. And there you have it, you guys, ground beef and cabbage soup. All right, moment of truth. It is time for the taste test. And I'm just going to add a little bit more fresh cracked pepper. This also really goes great with some chili oil if you want to jazz it up. I really love this garlic, onion, chili crunch oil from Trader Joe's, or you can use whatever chili oil you have on hand. You could add crushed red pepper flakes or just use it as it is, but it does really go great with that. I also have some leftover cooked rice from yesterday. I know my kids are gonna want a scoop of rice with this soup just because they love rice, but I'm just gonna enjoy this as is for lunch today. All right, let me get the perfect bite. I've got a little potato, some beef, some cabbage, some of the beans. I think that's everything in here, right? Okay, it's hot, you guys. Okay, so the battery just ran out on my camera just as I was giving the feedback. I was going to say, this is perfectly seasoned. The meat, the potatoes, the cabbage, it's all perfectly tender. It's delicious. Make this for your family, guys. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and click on that subscribe button below, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, you guys. How yummy is it?
Good.
Good?
And awesome. And amazing.
So amazing that that's your second bowl, right?
Thank you for giving me the waffle